recovery by increasing connectivity, stimulating demand, and creating jobs. In the wider context of the African Continental Free Trade Area, open skies help to link our businesses to regional and global supply chains, boosting trade and investment. This is why the full implementation of the Single Africa Air Transport Market must remain a top priority. Rwanda continues to do its part. Currently, Rwanda, our national carrier, serves 24 routes, 19 of which are in Africa. We intend to continue expanding within the continent and abroad. We are working together with our partner, Qatar Airways, to grow Rwanda and build Kigali's new international airport, currently under construction, into a regional hub for passengers and cargo. To accelerate the growth of our aviation industry, we must also address the shortage of skills across the aviation value chain. After all, aviation is a hugely attractive career for young people in Africa as a meeting point for the public and private sectors. This summit is the right platform to drive the employment and skills conversation. Lastly, let's prioritize the use of data and digital technologies to make Africa aviation safer, more reliable, and more affordable. The aviation industry has a role to play in reaching our global climate adaptation goals, and the use of sustainable fuels can help us get there faster.
The two-day event brought together global leaders and industry experts to discuss key issues facing the aviation sector and propose sustainable solutions. The Inspector General of Police, Dan Munyuza, has received the Director General of Benin Republican Police, Sumaila Alabiyaya, as the two institutions discussed ways to strengthen practical cooperation channels. Munyuza said that the visit is a milestone in enhancing security cooperation between Rwanda and Benin. He said this foundation requires the two police institutions to bring their efforts together with right actions to fight against organized and transnational crimes. He observed that this framework will streamline ways to establish practical channels of sharing information and intelligence on transnational crimes and terrorism that continues to threaten security of the continent. Furthermore, Munyuza said that this partnership provides channels to explore ways to share expertise, including training, knowledge, and resources to develop the capacity of police forces of the two countries. The Rwanda Meteorology Agency has warned of strong winds predicted to gust across most parts of the country over the next 8 days. Strong wind speeds ranging between 8 and 10 meters per second is expected over parts of Rutsiro, Karongi, Nyamasheke and Ngororero districts. The forecast warns that strong winds with speed ranging between 6 and 8 meters per second are expected in most of remaining parts of the country, except in parts of Kigali, Ngoma, Bugesera, Kamonyi and Gakenke districts, while moderate wind speed ranging between 4 and 6 meters per second is expected. The forecast warned that impacts associated with strong winds, such as blowing off of rooftops, falling of leaves and small branches, and damages caused by lightning are likely. Therefore, mitigation and prevention measures should be put in place. Rainfall ranging between 15 and 90 millimeters is expected across the country. Cumulative rainfall ranging between 75 and 90 millimeters is the highest expected in 10 days over the northwestern parts of Rubavu, Nyabihu, Musanze and Burera districts, while the remaining parts of the region, including Rutsiro, Ngororero, Gakenke, Rulindo, Gicumbi and localized parts of Rusizi, Nyamasheke and Nyagatare, are expected to receive rainfall ranging between 60 and 75 millimeters. The predicted rainfall will also be characterized by thunderstorms according to the forecast. Cumulative rainfall ranging between 15 and 30 millimeters is the lowest amount expected during the forecasted period and is expected over parts of Kayonza, Kirehe, Ngoma, Bugesera, Nyanza, Huye, Gisagara and western parts of Nyaruguru districts. Former street vendors in Musanze district have complained that they were promised finances to help them with the capital of their businesses when they were relocated to the markets, but they were not given even a cent, while the money was given to those who were not street vendors before. Local authorities continuously encouraged street vendors in the country to work in cooperatives and avoid operating informal businesses to be more secure and contribute to the economy of the country by paying taxes. Musanze district relocated vendors, especially women, who are operating along city streets. The move was aimed at easing their operations, and it was also supposed to include financing them to help them raise capital so as to make their businesses viable. However, the vendors claim that they asked to be put on a list of those who would receive financial assistance and were given a date and location, but they were surprised to discover that they were not among those who would receive capital finance assistance. The Local Administrative Entities Development Agency, in collaboration with the city of Kigali, announced that it will provide street vendors with loans that will be repaid within 2 years plus 2% interest to help them raise capital for their businesses. We shall come back after the advertisement with economic items.
Urifuza kumenya ubuhinzi ndetse n'ubucuruzi bw'indabo bukorera mu Rwanda? Bella Flowers ni umushinga ugamije guteza imbere ubuhinzi bw'indabo ndetse no kuzamura ubucuruzi ku isoko mpuzamahanga. Nyarukira kuri YouTube channel ya Radio Imanzi wirebera ubuhinzi bw'indabo muri Bella Flowers. Witinda kora subscribe kugira ngo urusheho kujya usobanukirwa byimbitse ku buhinzi ndetse n'ubucuruzi bw'indabo binyuze muri Bella Flowers.
Economic news is a regular feature on Radio Imanzi. The government of Rwanda says revenue from agriculture exports rose 45% to over $640 million despite the COVID-19 pandemic. This is according to the report of the National Agriculture Export Development Board released today on the performance of agro-exports for the fiscal year 2021-2022. The consolidated report includes figures of production, export volumes, and generated revenues from agricultural commodities from July 2021 to June 2022. According to the report, a total of $640,952,297 of revenues were registered from exportation of all agriculture products, representing an increase of 45% or 45%. This increase is justified by the government's economic recovery measures following the COVID-19 pandemic, which disrupted the global and cross-border trade. Claude Bizimana, Naib's CEO, said they are pleased that in addition to other opportunities, the agro-export sector contributes significantly to job retention and creation. He said they will build on this year's strong performance by looking for new and innovative ways to keep Rwanda's agribusiness environment adaptable and competitive while drawing in the interest of international markets. The Rwanda Stock Exchange Market Report. The trading session recorded a turnover of 133,984,200 Rwandan francs from 526,400 shares traded in 7 deals on the equities market and 116,057,640 Rwandan francs worth of bonds traded in 4 deals on the fixed income market. Bank of Kigali closed the counter at 272 Rwandan francs. The trading session recorded a turnover of 121,636 Rwandan francs from 450,500 shares traded in 2 deals. Bergwa closed the counter at 165 Rwandan francs. The trading session recorded a turnover of 12,276,000 Rwandan francs from 74,400 shares traded in 3 deals. I&M Bank closed the counter at 43 Rwandan francs. The trading session recorded a turnover of 60,200 Rwandan francs from 1,400 shares traded in 1 deal. Simerwa closed the counter at 120 Rwandan francs. The trading session recorded a turnover of 12,000 Rwandan francs from 100 shares traded in 1 deal. M10 Rwanda closed the counter at 176 Rwandan francs. Equity Bank at 440 Rwandan francs. Kenya Commercial Bank at 370 Rwandan francs. National Media Group at 1,200 Rwandan francs, Uchumi Supermarket at 104 Rwandan francs, and RH Buffalo closed the counter at 526 Rwandan francs as the market closed. The currency market review of today. The Kenyan shilling buying price was 8.5 Rwandan francs, and the selling price was 8.7 Rwandan francs. Tanzanian shilling buying price was 0.43 and the selling price was 0.44. Ugandan shilling buying price was 0.26 and the selling price was 0.27. Burundian franc buying price was 0.49 and the selling price was 0.5. The US dollar buying price was 1,027 and the selling price was 1,047. The British pound buying price was 1,192 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 1,216. The euro buying price was 1,035 and the selling price was 1,055 Rwandan francs.
Some items of international news on Radio Imanzi.
Several leaders have confirmed their attendance at Kenya's President-elect William Ruto's inauguration on Tuesday, indicating regional support for the country's 5th head of state as he begins his new term. Interior Principal Secretary Karanja Kibicho said 20 heads of state and government had already confirmed attending the ceremony where Dr. Ruto is to be sworn in and later address a gathering at the Karasani Stadium in Nairobi. All East African community presidents have confirmed to attend. The United Nations has called on European Union countries not to resort to more fossil fuels as they face soaring energy prices amid fears of winter shortages. In the face of soaring energy prices which threaten to impact the most vulnerable as winter approaches, some European Union member states are turning to investments in fossil fuels infrastructures and supplies. Nada al-Nashif, Deputy UN Rights Chief, told the United Nations Human Rights Council today. She said there is no room for backtracking in the face of ongoing climate crisis, warning of the long-term consequences of boosting the use of fossil fuels that contribute to global warming. She pointed to the devastating floods affecting more than 33 million people in Pakistan as an example of what happens when the world fails to act on climate change. Ethiopia's Tigray rebels have said they would accept a peace process with the federal authorities led by the African Union. The statement by the rebels said furthermore they are ready to abide by an immediate and mutually agreed cessation of hostilities in order to create a conducive atmosphere. The African Union and the Ethiopian Minister for Peace, Tain Dendea, welcomed the development. The statesman, however, insisted the rebel troops must be disarmed before peace talks start. With that, we come to the end of tonight's edition.